Good day, everyone. This is Jason Santos, and for today, we are going to continue our discussion on statistics and probability. We are on Chapter 2, Part 2, Measures of Location. This is a continuation of what we have discussed last week when we covered percentiles. Now we are already on deciles and quartiles. So let's get started. So for this week, we are now already on deciles and quartiles. So what does it mean when we say decile? So decile is any of the 9 values that divide the sorted data into 10 equal parts so that each part represents 1 out of 10 or the sample or population. So if you would remember last time sa percentile, the representation is 1 out of 100. Okay? So, meron tayong let's say 29th percentile, 30th percentile, 40th percentile, so on and so forth. But for decile, the totality is divided into 10 parts. Okay? And then 1 out of 10 or each decile represents 1 out of 10. A decile is one possible form of a quantile. So yung quantile, that is the umbrella term for everything that we have discussed in measures of location. So we have deciles, percentile, tapos later on we will have quartile. So lahat yun, ang tawag doon ay quantiles. Now, others include the quartile and percentile. And then the equal parts can be denoted as D sub 1, D sub 2, D sub 3, up to D sub 9. So if you would see on the picture below, let's say you are in the first decile, that means it covers 1 to 15. Now if you're on the second decile, it covers 16 to 22. So that's how decile works. So here we have an example of data taken from Canada's Statistics of National Household. So it was done in 2011, and this was through a survey. Now, what we can see using the chart is that if let's say you belong in the ninth decile or sinabi sa'yo, okay, your family belongs in the ninth decile. What does that mean? It means that your family's income is above 90,000 Canadian dollars. So, see, we have used charts to present deciles. Now, ano yung significance niya? Let's say if I would use percentile here, napakalaki ng magiging chart ko, right? Kasi it's going to be 1 out of 100. Ang dami nun, ano? But for this one, it's better to use deciles because you will just be simply dividing your data into 10 parts. So you will just be needing 10 bars. Okay? This is a better option for this graphical representation as compared to percentile wherein we would have to put 100 bars in a chart. Okay? Now, going to quartiles, it is a type of quantile which divides the number of data points into 4 more or less equal parts or quarters. So, nakikita ninyo, no? The prefix defines the term. So, percent, it's 10. Decile is 10. And then percentile is 100. And then quartiles would be for 4 parts, no? Quarters. The first quartile or Q sub 1 is defined as the middle number between the smallest number and the median. So let's say meron kang data, no? Dinivide mo siya into 4 parts. Sabi dito, the first quartile is defined as the middle between the smallest number if it's here and then you have a median here. Siya yung nasa gitna. Siya yung Q sub 1 mo. And then pagka nasa dulo naman, you have Q sub 2 and then Q sub 3. Yung Q sub 3 would be the median. The middle. From median up unto the last part. Okay? So, now let's go to computation. How are we going to compute for decile and quartile? So last time we have already learned how to compute for percentile. So decile is the location where J, or again, this could be any letter. Baka malito kayo or sabihin nyo, hindi dapat J ang gamitin. No. It could be A, X, Y, Z, etc. etc. I have just used J kasi yun na yung nagamit natin last time. Ano? Now, D stands for decile. Okay? Um, yung iba, ang ginagawa nila dyan, D, tapos let's say ang hinahanap ay 7, it's going to be D sub 7 equals to J over 10 multiplied by N. But for us, para hindi kayo malito, no? And to be consistent with what we have discussed last time, we will just be using D and then later on na yung numbers. So let's say our problem is we wanted to find the 7th decile in this ungrouped data set. So we wanted to know nasaan ba yung 7th decile in this ungroup. So decile is the location where J or any letter can be divided into 10 parts. Ano? So una, what should we be doing? So step 1, you would have to arrange the data first. Alright? As any step in the past computations that we are doing, you have to arrange the data, especially for ungroup, right? So, ayan, we have arranged it starting from 1, the least, up to 10, the highest, okay? So, step 2, after the data has been arranged, we can now apply the formula. So, it's going to be D equals to 7 because we're looking for 7th decile divided by 10. Why 10? Because again, this is decile. So, 10 yung denominator niya. Multiplied by 20. Why 20? Kasi the total number of data given to us is 20. So, if you do that, your answer is going to be 14. Okay? And then, now, what are we going to do with the number 14? Hahanapin na natin siya ngayon from our data set, or we are going to locate number 14 here. So, bibilangin mo siya. So, here, from our example, if you would count 1 to 14 from left, right? Your 14th number is going to be 7. So, what does that mean? Your 7th decile is equals to 7. Right? So, it's very easy. Napakadali lang ma-identify ng decile. And the same goes for quartile. Now, if the decile is in 10 parts, the quartile again is divided into 4 parts. So, same formula. We have just replaced the denominator. So, Q for quartile is equals to J or any letter divided by 4 multiplied by N or total number. So, we are going to use the same example. So, let's try to find Q2 or the second quartile in this ungrouped data set. So, what we will be doing is first arrange the data, just like what we did with decile. So, now that it has been arranged, step 2, we have to calculate. So, how do you calculate that? Quartile is equals to 2 because we are looking for quartile or second quartile over 4, our denominator, multiplied by 20, it is equals to 10. Okay. So, our second quartile naman here is 10. Alright? So, hindi pa yun yung answer ha. Hanapin pa natin. We are going to count the 10th digit. Alright? In order to find the second quartile. So, if we would count, so yan, 1 to 10, we will arrive at number 6. So, meaning, the second quartile is 6. Again, it's very simple, similar to percentile. So, we now understand percentile, decile, and quartile based from our examples. Now, what does this all mean? Ano bang relationship of all these things, the measures of location, to one another? So, if you would look at this graph, okay, you can see minimum, the maximum, the 25th percentile, the median, which is yung gitna, the 75th percentile, and all of these things are related to one another. Like for example, 25th percentile. Your 25th percentile is equivalent to first quartile. Okay? Yan yung binabanggit natin kanina eh. Yung median mo as related to the minimum or the smallest value, yung gitna nun pi, what you call as Q1. Okay, the first quartile. Now, from your median, mula sa gitna hanggang sa kabilang dulo, no, in the middle of that lies your 75th percentile and your third quartile, which is also equivalent. So, if you, again, ano, lahat sila ay related sa isa't isa. First decile, the 20th percentile is the same as the second decile, of course. 25th percentile is the same as the first quartile. 50th percentile, same as the fifth decile. Kasi 50 eh. Or second quartile, and so on and so forth. So, whichever you would use, ano, kahit alin ang gamitin mo dyan, o I'm referring to first quartile, o pareho lang yun, that's 25th percentile. I'm referring to 75th percentile. You're looking at Q3. So, pareho lang siya, no? Don't be confused if these terms are used interchangeably, alright? So, I hope naiintindihan natin iyon, class. Now, let's try to work on this. Alright, I'm giving this an assignment to everyone. So, there are 25 students in the class who took an exam which is 50 items. May 50 item exam tayo. And they got the following score. So, these are the scores. So, what you would need to look for is the first quartile, the second quartile, fifth decile, seventh decile, and ninth decile. So, if you need help on answering this, you can feel free to send me a message, or you can just comment down on this video, so that I would be able to tell if your answer is correct. All right. So that wraps up our short discussion of measures of location. Now we're done with this chapter, and I hope you have learned something. And please follow me on all the social media platforms I am in, such as YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can also send me a personal message for any questions or concerns or assistance. With that, thank you so much for watching this video, and to God be all the glory. Till our next video.